Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Data Structures course lecture session. Now, as this is the first day of semester 3, I welcome you all, and I hope that your previous semester has gone through very well. You have learned multiple new things, and the journey towards learning all these new things and the field that we are in, computer, which gives you day by day multiple new things to us. So in the journey of that learning new things every day, I welcome one more time a second year of your bachelor's degree and the third semester from where your domain specific subjects will be increasing, right? As you all know that first year is kind of a common for all the streams, whether it is computer, IT, civil, mechanical and all. As per UGC and AICT, it is needed because an engineer must be knowing all the fundamentals of other branches also. But now from second year onwards, eventually your stream specific subjects will be increasing, and this is where you as a computer engineering student, this is where you start with the very basic of computer is the data structure, right? And the other subject you are also going to learn maybe the database management system, DMS. And I believe there is one more subject which is based on programming language, object-oriented programming language you are going to learn. As in a previous semester you have seen C programming language, in this semester you might be going through C++. Okay, so there are three core subjects for you, core subject of your branch, and maths will be obviously there till maybe fourth or fifth semester. You are going to have one subject on maths, and then there are going to be other subjects also. Probably first week you all will be having introduction part to all those courses, and that's what we are going to do today. We are going to have an introduction on data structures. Now this is a course which is a 5 credit course, and we'll deep dive into the content also. We'll see what is the outcome. So our today's plan is to have a look at the entire subject overview, what this subject is, what it contains, what will be the outcome of this subject, and how are we going to go through this subject in the entire semester, around 14-week schedule, right? What will be the teaching scheme, evaluation schemes, and how are we going to do the programs? Because look, data structure is not a programming subject, core programming subject, but it is related to programs, because until and unless you implement these data structures in a program, you are not going to understand it, how and why it is needed, how it works and all, right? Where you can apply these data structures in your program, in your software. Okay. Yeah, very well said. Rahul is saying that programming is a communication language to solve data structures. Well, we can interpret like this way also. Any programming language you can use to implement these data structures, which are in a way going to solve your problems, right? Okay, so let's go through this subject content first. Now you can find this syllabus file on the Marwari University website also. Okay, go to the Marwari University website, bachelor's program, computer branch and scroll down that page, you'll have the entire teaching scheme where you'll find the semester 3 data structure subject on the subject code, which is 01CE 0301. You'll have a link to this file. Okay. So as you can see, it's a 5-credit course. So once you crack this entire course, once you let's say clear the subject, all the evaluation schemes, you will be awarded 5 credits for this subject in your degree. Let's see the outcome of this subject first, this course. Once you go through this course, you'll be able to recognize the need of the data structures. Okay, so what is data structure? It is kind of a structure to handle our data. And as you all know, nowadays data is the core part of our industry. Everything is working on data, correct? Big data, data analysis part and all. Now, once you have your data, how you are going to manage it? Okay, how you are going to manage that data once you are performing some operations on the data, how you are going to manage that data? Now, managing means where you will store, in what structure you are going to store that data, whether that data will be simply dumped into the file, or even inside that file there will be some structure like first you'll have a name, then second you'll have the age, then third you'll have the address. What kind of structure you are going to follow there? So something like that we are going to see here. And once you are done with this entire course, you will be able to recognize the need of data structure, why we need it in any application, right? Even you'll be able to analyze various data structures and their applications. So we are going to see linear and non-linear data structures here. Linear data structures are nothing but array, stack, queue, and linked list. Non-linear data structures are going to be tree and a graph. Now this is what we will see under this course. Now that's not limited to, there are a few other data structures also that you will learn eventually when you go through the entire journey of bachelor's degree. Okay, so what are those data structures? You'll be able to analyze those, which data structure has been used in a particular application and which is better to use, whether we should go for linear or whether we should go for non-linear data structure. Okay, then you will also be able to design and implement various techniques to search a particular data or even sort a particular data. So once you are managing your data, there might be a need of searching something, or maybe you want to store your data in a sorted manner so that you can easily access whatever record you want. So there will be searching and sorting algorithms we will be looking at. Okay, and also the last one, if you have been given any problem to be solved, let's say a person is coming to you and asking you to solve the problem which is related to anything, let's say, but the possible solution is a software which handles all the data. So when you are going to implement that software, nothing but a program actually, so when you are going to implement that program, what kind of data structure you will be using inside that program so that it will be easy for you to handle the data. So that is actually the identifying process of proper data structure as per the requirement. Okay, so you will also be able to identify appropriate data structure based on the given problem or the based on the possible solution of the problem. So these are few outcomes. Once you go through this entire course, you will be able to do all these things, and not limited to these four, but there are number of outcomes once you complete this course. These are the major outcomes that we should actually point out. Okay. And the prerequisite for this course is the computer programming in C. So you have already gone through CP subject in the previous semester, and believe me, it is really a prerequisite course. Okay, you must be knowing all those things that you have learned in this subject, computer programming subject, because all the programs in data structure we are going to implement in C language. Okay, all the programs in this subject, data structure, we will implement using C programming language, and that's why CP subject is prerequisite for this. Okay, fine. Now Herschel is asking, so what is data? Look, data is whatever information you have. Okay, whatever information you have, if that information is somewhat related to your problem, then we can say it's a data. There is a very minor difference in data and information. Information can be anything, but from those from that information, whatever is related to our problem, we extract it and we call it a data. That's my data, required data. But in other words, if we don't focus on that part, then we can say whatever values, whatever strings, name, anything that you have which you are going to use in your program, that's going to be your data. So for example, if I'm working on a student result program, okay, if I'm working on a program which actually prints the result of a student, then student enrollment number, student name, maybe I can divide that name into portions like first name, middle name, last name. Then a student semester, student address, phone number, email address, maybe, and then I'll move towards the marks. So number of subjects, name of the subject, subject code, theory marks, practical marks, total marks, then the grades. Based on a grade, maybe we go for SPI, CPI calculation. So some of these are calculations. So SPI and CPI will be based on a calculation, but that calculation will be done based on what? Based on the marks and grade. So these marks and grades may be your data. To be specific, marks will be the data. Even grade can be calculated from the marks, right? Yeah, Nandan is pointing one thing. If I'm talking about social media, like posts, feeds, messages, can be designed or can be run by data structure. Is it right? Yes, it is. Definitely. Well, when you are thinking about social media, it is a web programming, right? Web-based application. So that can be implemented using web technologies, and web technology, you are going to have that course in 5th or 6th semester later on. But definitely everywhere data structure is must. Whether you are going for web application, whether you are going for mobile application, whether you are going for desktop application, any kind of application, a problem solution you are implementing, then inside that application you are going to handle some data, and wherever there is a data, you need a proper data structure. We'll also see this detail why and when we should go for it in a first unit. So we'll also see the unit, each and every unit content here. Okay. Yeah, Arun is saying why some languages are more preferred to be used for handling of data. Well, look, when we say programming languages, it is just kind of let's say Gujarati, Hindi, English, Tamil, Malayalam, and all, right? So those are programming languages, and these are simple, let's say, communication language that we human race uses. Now, if you look at the perspective of developer, from the perspective of developer, then it is pretty much simple. A developer is comfortable with one language, then he or she will prefer that language to be used in the problem solution. Correct? Now, if you look from the perspective of a computer, then we can say there is a specific reason which languages computer can handle easily. Because when I'm talking in English, maybe some of you, not all, but maybe some of you who are from Gujarati medium background, they will be struggling with the communication, right? The students who are coming from Gujarati medium, they might be struggling with the communication right now because they need to translate this English statement in their native language, and then they interpret my statements, right? Similarly, computer needs to translate your program in the language which it understands. Now, when you write any program in C language, Java language, Python language, or any maybe Dart language, R language, there are a number of languages. But when you write that program, computer needs to compile it. The compilation process is something which is going to convert your program to the computer understandable program. So that compilation process is must. And once the compilation process has been done, program has been converted to the language which computer can understand, then it is just a number of instructions to be followed. Computer is nothing but a machine which is blindly going to follow whatever you tell it. So whatever you have written in the program, computer is going to follow it. So after compilation process, it is a set of instructions, step by step process computer will follow. So in that case, compilation process is a tedious point. C program is going to be compiled, Java program is going to be compiled, and so on, right? So your program need to be compiled. The compilation process, whichever is shorter, better, faster, we can say it is preferable. The compilation process which is lightweight, preferable way to go for. The compilation process which converts your program into shorter number of instructions, preferable to go for, right? So that's not the part of this subject right now, so we will not be going in depth of that discussion, but there are number of subjects which are going to teach you all these things step by step, right? Once you are capable of understanding those things, you will be having those kind of subjects. Even you'll be having compiler design subject maybe in 6th semester. Okay, so if you look at the entire teaching scheme of 4 years, you will see all those subjects. You like you have data structure and database management system right now in 3rd semester. In 4th semester, you are going to learn how operating system works. Even you are in each and every semester, you are going to see few languages. Like earlier you have gone for C, right now you will be having C++. Maybe next semester you'll have Java, maybe in fifth or sixth semester, you'll be having web technology languages like PHP, JavaScript. Later on, you'll have few more Python with application or something and all, right? So you will see those subjects when time comes. Well, coming back to our course, data structures. So let us see now, as we have discussed that it is a 5-credit course, total 5 credit you are going to earn once you complete this course. Then those 5 credits are calculated based on 4 hours of theory lectures and 2 hours of practical per week. So in a week, there will be 4 lectures and 1 laboratory session. Okay. Well, Harshil has righted a point. He is saying, why we develop all languages in English? Why not develop in Gujarati or Hindi or other? Well, English is a language which has been accepted worldwide, right? That's one point, the major point. If Gujarati has been accepted as a communication language worldwide, then we might be seeing computers working on Gujarati. But that's not the case right now, right? Even there are a few research work going on which says Sanskrit is a language which computer understands much better than the binary also. Well, at the end, computer is understanding binary language. Everything is converted to zeros and ones, right? But well, we'll not go into that in depth of that thing. Let's come back to our course. So we were discussing teaching scheme, 4 hours of theory per week and 2 hours of lab session. In a theory part, we are going to see all the data structures. We are going to understand how that data structure works, what are the operations we can perform on that data structure and all, right? And even in the theory session itself, I'm going to explain the program of that data structure also, so that in a laboratory session, when we go for a lab session, 2 hour session, you can directly start performing those practicals at your end. I'll explain how, where you should write those programs. Okay. So that comprises to the 5 credit, and total it is 150 marks subject, right? And those 150 marks are divided into end semester examination 50 marks, where if everything becomes normal, then you might be having 3 hours, 100 marks end semester exam paper, which will be converted to 50 marks. But as per the current situation, if condition is not in our case or on our side, then we might be going for online examinations and all different approaches, right? So 50 marks for ESE, then 30 marks for mid-sem exams. Per semester, you will be having 2 mid-semester exams, 30 marks each, and that will be total 60 marks will be converted to 30 again, okay? Then there is an internal component of 20 marks. For this internal component, you have to perform few tasks given by me. And look, this teaching scheme and evaluation scheme is going to be common for all the classes which has this course. So not for TC1 or TC2 only, even TC3, TD1, TT1 will be following the same thing. So very soon you will be informed what you have to do here to achieve these 20 marks, the internal component, okay? Then there is end semester Viva, 25 marks. So at the end of the semester, you'll be having Viva for this entire course, and 25 marks will be given based on that Viva process. And the term work, 25 marks, which is purely based on your practicals that you perform. So in your lab session, okay, 2 hours of lab session, you are going to perform number of practicals. Even practical list is given in this file. So you are going to implement those programs, and you have to submit those practicals in Google Classroom. Very soon I'm going to send you the invitation for Google Classroom, and in that Google Classroom you are going to upload your practicals, handwritten practicals, scanned and converted to PDF file, and then upload that PDF file in the Google Classroom. Let me clarify. Handwritten programs. So whatever you perform, you have to write that program in a page. Any kind of page you can have. If you want to let's say prepare a book for this subject, you can. I'm not going to ask you to submit that book. Okay, it is for you only. But you have to write those programs in a page. Then you take a photograph, scan it, convert it to PDF, and then you have to upload those PDF in a given time period. Okay. So in Google Classroom, I'm going to generate few assignments with deadlines, and you have to follow those deadlines. So on time, if you are submitting everything which is perfect, then you can have full 25 marks for term work. If you miss some deadlines, then definitely it is going to affect your term work evaluation. So make sure that you be on time, you complete each and every task given, and you upload those files. From my side, I'll assure you that I'm never going to ask you to submit something on the next day directly. I'll never say that, okay, today is 12th July, on 13th July you have to submit something. I'll never do that thing. I'll make sure that you will have enough time to write, enough time to scan, upload. So most of the time when I generate an assignment, I'm going to give you 6 days or 1 week time. That's how I'm going to set the deadlines. Okay. You'll have enough time to complete all the tasks and be on time. Fine. So that's the evaluation process also. That's how total 150 marks are divided. Now, most of the time, all the courses will have this kind of marks distribution, 50, 30, 20, 25, 25. But evaluation scheme may differ, and that's going to be based on the subject coordinator. Fine. Yeah, so we have seen outcomes, we have seen teaching scheme as well as evaluation scheme. But now let's have a look at the content of this course. What exactly we are going to learn in this course? What are the topics that we are going to cover here? So the first unit is a very basic unit related to data structure. It is the introduction part, where we will see the database data management concepts. So why we need to manage this data and how we need to manage this data. So when we deep dive to the data understanding part, then we go to the data types, and that depends on the programming language, primitive and non-primitive data types. You have already seen this thing in previous semester computer programming subject, right? So can anyone quickly tell me what is primitive and non-primitive data type? Well, definitely we'll see this thing once we start the course, but as I believe you have already gone through this, if something is there in your mind, quickly write it in the chat box. So what is primitive and non-primitive data type? No idea? Okay. Predefined data types is primitive data type. That's not 100% correct statement, but we can say, okay, you can interpret it like that way. Yeah, integer character, it's a primitive data type. That's correct. So yes, okay. With examples, you'll understand, like integer, character, float, double, long, All these are the primitive data types for C language, right? So we'll see that, okay, primitive and non-primitive data types. Then we will move towards the core of this subject, which is the data structure. So after that, we'll see the types of data structures, linear and non-linear data structure. Okay, linear and non-linear data structure. So in unit 1, we are going to understand what is linear and what is non-linear data structure. But later part of this course gives you the major unit on both those types. So second unit, which is totally based on linear data structure, and the third unit is based on non-linear data structure. So as I told you, in a linear part, we are going to have a look at array, stack, queue, and linked list. Okay, so these are the 4 data structures we will cover in this course. Well, array you have already learned. C arrays, correct? What is array? Array is nothing but a collection of elements having same data types. Look, same data type is major part when you are defining array, because array cannot have a data which follows a different data type. Yeah, and the second point given by Dhiren, that's perfect. Stored in a continuous manner. Arrays requires continuous memory allocation. That's correct. Now, what if I want to have a different data type elements? What should I go for? What should I take? Structure, that's correct. So if I want to store multiple elements which is having different data type, then we will go for a structure. So what is array? Array is nothing but a collection of elements having same data type. Structure is also a collection of elements having same or different data types. Okay. Yeah, Rahul is saying array list. Well, C programming language does not support array list data type. Java has a support of array list. Okay, that you will learn later. Fine. So that's what the array you have understood already. Now using array, you can create stack, you can create queue. Now what is stack and what is queue, that we will see inside this unit. So using array, you can create these things. So in a memory, it is going to be just like an array. Then why should we call it stack? Why should we call it queue? Now that's just because of its behavior. Okay, based on the behavior. If behavior is something like last in first out, last in first out, जो लास्ट में आएगा वो पहले बाहर निकलेगा, then LIFO structure is the stack, and the first in first out FIFO structure is the queue. So we will see few more examples, like there is a queue in on ticket window, right? We call it a queue. Why? Because the person who is standing on the front is the person who is going to get the first ticket, right? So just like that. So it's a queue. And based on this data structures or the behaviors, there are a number of operations to be performed. And those operations do have their specific name. Like queue has simple insert and delete operation, but those insert and delete operations are having some different name in stack. It is actually push and pop operation, right? So these are the data structures which we will see in detail in the second unit. And then there comes linked list. Linked list. So again, it is a list of your data. but it is linked with each other. And this is what actually the plus point that you can have, or where you eliminate the limitation of array. The second point of array, which Dhiren said, arrays are stored in a continuous manner, right? That is kind of a limitation for array. Let's say if I want to store my data which is having 1000 elements, and what if I do not have enough continuous memory to store those 1000 elements? अगर मेरे पास कंटिन्यूअस मेमोरी अवेलेबल नहीं है जहां पे मैं अपने 1000 एलिमेंट्स स्टोर कर सकूं, इन दैट केस मेरा प्रोग्राम आगे नहीं बढ़ेगा, राइट? बिकॉज आई डोंट हैव इनफ मेमोरी. बट व्हाट इफ यू हैव a bunch of memory, let's say 400 एलिमेंट के लिए एक जगह पे मेमोरी है, देन 200 एलिमेंट्स के लिए दूसरी जगह पे मेमोरी है, रिमेनिंग एलिमेंट्स आर स्टोर कैन बी स्टोर्ड at a third place, and so on. So you can divide your data and store at different places, and then you can link those data. That is what this linked list says. So using linked list, you can have a bunch of data stored at different places, and then you can link those data. So you need not to have a continuous memory allocation, right? If there is a need जहाँ पे आपके पास continuous memory नहीं है, तो आप linked list use कर सकते हो. And how we can use it, we'll see that once we start linked list topic. But look, this linked list requires understanding of structure and pointer. Remember, to understand linked list, you must know structure and pointer from computer programming subject. So Arun is saying, yes, that's correct, Arun. Linked list is actually the list of nodes, and each node will have minimum two portions inside. One will be the data, and the second one will be the pointer to the next element, or maybe pointer to the previous element, depending on type of the linked list. Okay. So that's the entire second unit. Then once we go to the third unit, it is non-linear data structure, and then inside that major we are going to see tree and a graph. So now you can understand, okay, linear is something where our data can be accessed in a linear way. So in a single traversal, starting from one end to the other end, you traverse entire data in a single path, then it is a linear data structure. But if you need to take a different paths, right? Like tree has a branches, even graph has a number of branches, right? So if it is needed for you to go for multiple paths, if it is a case where you cannot traverse your entire data in a single run, you have to go for back and forth direction, then it is a non-linear data structure. So tree and a graph is the major part that we are going to see here. So why we need a tree, why we need a graph, in what cases we need to go for non-linear data structure, हम कब ट्री को यूज करेंगे, कब हम ग्राफ को यूज करेंगे, that we will see. And once we store our data in tree or a graph, even we are going to see the operations on these data structures. So what if you want to search something? What if you want to find a proper path from one end to other end, right? So those kind of operations we are going to see inside this unit. Along with that unit, inside that unit, we will also see different kinds of trees. Well, we have decided that okay, हमें tree बनाना है, लेकिन वो कौन सा tree रहेगा? We'll see number of trees also, so that it will be feasible for us to store data in a memory. Okay, so that will be your third unit, nonlinear data structures. Fourth unit is purely based on searching and sorting part. I'm not sure whether you have gone for searching and sorting in previous semester, but we will see the searching techniques, linear search and binary search, as well as we will see the sorting techniques. Now there are a number of sorting algorithms available. In this semester, you are going to see bubble, selection, insertion, merge and quick. In further next semester, when you have design and analysis of algorithm subject, you will have few other sorting algorithms also. Heap sort, bucket sort, and so on, right? But there are number of sorting techniques available. Dhiren is saying tree is basically used to store data in more organized way. Well, that's not the always case. Generally, we prefer tree whenever we have a parent-child kind of relationship. Okay. When we have hierarchical data, we go for tree. That's more relevant statement we can say. Otherwise, look, even array is more organized than the tree because array does not have any branches, right? So organization always depends on the requirement and the type of your data. Okay. Yeah. I believe Harshit was saying it is not processed in continuous manner. That is related to nonlinear data structure, right, Harshit? Yeah, so in the fourth unit, it is searching and sorting techniques. How you can sort your data using bubble sort, how you can sort your data using selection, insertion, merge, or quick sort. Now, these are the different techniques. These are the different ways of sorting your data. So different algorithms we can say. Okay. And the fifth unit is hashing and collision. Look, when you decide to store your data somewhere in the memory, right, then you have to remember भाई आपने उसको कहाँ पे store किया है. You have to remember it. Just like you always remember the address of your friend, or you might be remembering the phone number of your friend. Similarly, that way, program needs to remember the address of your data. आपकी मेमोरी में आपने उस डेटा को कहाँ पे स्टोर किया है वो एड्रेस आपको याद रखना होगा, so that you can access that data whenever you want. अब मान लो कि बड़ा सा डेटा है, आपने एक जगह पे स्टोर किया है, तो आप सिर्फ उसका इनिशियल एड्रेस याद रखोगे, करेक्ट? जैसे कि मान लो कि यूनिवर्सिटी में जितने भी स्टूडेंट हैं, सारे स्टूडेंट का डेटा मैंने अपनी मेमोरी में एक जगह पे रखा है, तो मैं इनिशियल एड्रेस याद रखूंगा तो वो इनफ नहीं है, बिकॉज लेटर पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इफ आई हैव बीन आस्क्ड इंजीनियरिंग कंप्यूटर ब्रांच थर्ड सेमेस्टर में से कोई एक स्टूडेंट जो है उसका डेटा लेके आओ, देन वो जो बड़ा सा डेटा है उसमें मुझे कहीं ना कहीं सर्च करने जाना पड़ेगा, and in that case it won't be much feasible for me. There comes हैशिंग. ओके, वहाँ पे ज़रूरत पड़ती है हैशिंग की. हैशिंग इज समथिंग लाइक अ कांस्टेंट टाइम सर्च रिजल्ट. आई एम गोइंग टू मैप दैट डेटा विथ अ की, और उस की से मुझे पता चल जाएगा कि ये डेटा कहाँ पे होगा. आई कैन डायरेक्टली हिट दैट डेटा इन अ सिंगल शॉट. सो दैट्स वेयर यूज ऑफ हैशिंग कम्स. सो उसको बोलते हैं कि हैशिंग, हैश फंक्शंस जो हमें हैश वैल्यू देंगे, राइट? Now, creating or defining hash functions are trickier task. And अगर आप अच्छा hash function नहीं बनाते हो, then you are going to have multiple collisions. दो डेटा एक ही जगह पे स्टोर करने जाओगे आप. That is called collision. And how we can handle those collisions, we are going to see here. Collision resolution techniques also. So that's your 5th unit. Okay. So that's the content of our entire syllabus. We are going to start with the basics of data types and data structure types. Then we will see two major portions, linear and non-linear data structures. After that, we will see how we can sort or search our data. And when there is a limitation of linear and binary search, we go for hashing. So that's the content that we are going to cover in this entire syllabus. Your syllabus file gives you few reference books. All these reference books are available in library, but as you are at your home right now, what you can do is you just follow my lecture parts. I'm going to upload my presentation slides in e-content. You can refer those slides also. All these lectures are recorded, so at a later point of time you can refer these recorded lectures once again if you want. Once colleges are open for physical attendance, you can also visit our library and you can issue these books, whatever you want. Fine. Now this is just a suggested theory distribution. So from entire theory, when your examination is being handled, 20% part will be of remembrance, 20% will be on understanding part, and so on, right? That you can have a look at. And after that, you have the suggested list of experiments. So these are the practicals that we are going to perform, okay, that we are going to perform in our lab sessions. We'll start with the very basic of understanding pointer. You might have already implemented this program, call by value, call by reference. Then we will see how we can go for dynamic memory allocation. Now, I just want to make sure, just want to ask you, in your previous semester, have you gone through this topic, dynamic memory allocation? Have you allocated memory runtime? Okay, fine. Well, in that case, I need to teach you what is DMA and how you can achieve that thing, because it is needed. When we go for linked list, dynamic memory allocation is needed. So before linked list, you should be knowing what is dynamic memory allocation, what is malloc, calloc, and free function. Okay. And after that, we'll go for implementing those data structures like stack. We'll implement a stack, we'll implement a queue, circular queue, then linked list, and all those. Along with that, we will also implement few programs which is actually the application of your data structure, like infix to postfix conversion is where you are going to use stack. Okay. So these are the list of programs that we are going to perform here. Okay. And then few instructional methods, few supplementary resources, and all. Now during the entire semester, I'll also make you aware of few other web links which can help you understand all these things. Even I am going to follow digital pen and paper along with the presentation slides, right? So we'll have a mixed mode. I'll be having presentational slides, and along with that slide, I'm going to have few manual work, calculations, and all. So that's how we will be going through this entire syllabus. Now, as long as programming related point, I believe you have gone through Turbo C, right? In your previous semester, you have used Turbo C. Few of you might have code, yes, VS Code. And look, I just want to make you aware that there is nothing like limitation. You can write your C programs online. Once you have internet connection, just go to Google, search online C compiler, and you'll have the number of results. Okay, where you can use online GDB compiler, you can write your C code and run it. Output will be just beneath your code. Yeah. Then there is Programmease. All these are online C compilers, and you can run C code on these websites. Okay. So there is a Coding Ground, there is a CodeChef, there is a JDoodle website. Okay. There is a My Compiler also. So you can simply Google it, and you'll have those websites where you can run, you can write your code, you can test your code. Some of you might be using mobile phones or tablets or something. Well, in that case, go to Google Play, okay, Google Play Store, and search for let's say Coding C, okay. Go to Android, Google Play, and search for Coding C or C programming language or something. You'll have number of applications in your Android phone. Also, you can write your C program and run it. So this is one, Coding C, offline C compiler. You just install this application in your mobile phone. You can write your code and run your code also. Okay, so this is how it looks. That's one. And there is another also, online compiler, code for mobile or something. You can implement your code inside this application also, and you can run it. And there are a number of applications available. So even you can work with your Android phone. I believe there must be some kind of Apple Play Store applications also. I'm not aware of it right now, but I believe there will be few applications on that also. Okay, so it's nothing like you have some kind of limitations here. And for me, I will be working on VS Code. Okay, so all my programs I'm going to implement in VS Code here. So you will see this screen when I'm working on a program. Now, if you want to work on VS Code, look, VS Code is available for all the platforms, Windows, Linux, and Mac, correct? And if you want to work with VS Code, you need to have at least one extension. Look, one is the C++ extension add-on language, and the major one that you will require is the code runner. So you can go to this extensions tab, you can search those extensions, and you can install it. And once you install these extensions inside your VS Code, you can run any C code with this play button here on the top right corner. And once you click on that play button, it is going to run your program here, and this is where your output is. Just go for YouTube video. There is one setting. Okay, sorry. You have to go for one setting once you install your code runner. Okay, and it is something like run your code in terminal. Okay, I forgot that setting. Yeah, run in terminal. This is what you have to enable. Okay, run in terminal. This is what you have to enable to make your program run in a terminal here, so that you will be able to give input here also. So these are few initial settings that you have to go for. Okay, so make sure that you are having required environment. I don't have any problem with Turbo C. अगर आप Turbo C use करते हो, go for it. You can use whatever environment you prefer. I don't have any problem with Turbo C, VS Code, online editor, or maybe mobile application. You can use any of these. Okay, fine, but make sure you will be able to run your programs. That's what I want. आपका program run होना चाहिए, output आना चाहिए. That's what I want from my side. Well, that's all. Time is over, so we have to conclude this session here. And as this was the first lecture, we have gone through basics of subject, need of the subject, content of the subject, and prerequisite like programming languages, editors, and all. From next lecture onwards, we'll start our first unit and we'll start going through the topics that we need to go through, right? Dhiren is saying, what is the use of sorting program, even though we can easily do it with the latest programming languages like sort in Python? Yeah, Python does have that sort implemented inbuilt. Now, who has created Python? Dhiren, Python किसने create किया? At least one developer. A developer has designed that programming language. That developer must have implemented this function, sort function, somewhere in the library code. So if you are a developer, then you should know how to implement all those things. And that's why, being a computer IT student, we need to know all those algorithms. We need to know how to implement those things. Look, we are not end users. Please make this picture clear in your mind. If you are in a computer IT field, तो आप उसके user नहीं हो, आप उसके developer हो. And you need to know how to develop everything. Okay? That's why we are going to learn those things. If every time we are going to use it, तो फिर हमें computer engineer बनने की क्या ज़रूरत है? हम computer operator बन सकते हैं. Okay. Well, keeping that aside, it's almost time. We have taken few more minutes. So let's conclude this session here and see you in the next lecture again. Thank you. Thank you everyone for being part of this session. See you very soon, and we'll start our subject content starting from next lecture. Thank you. Bye-bye.